We were a family of storytellers, great wit, great humor, and they were intelligent, but they were, you had to find your own way. And if you had a problem, you didn't come and complain about it. You figured it out for yourself. So the way you got information was through storytelling. If I asked a question, I'd be given a story, and I had to figure out what that meant. I was given that as a kid, you know, going to bed at night. I was always told a story. I tell my kids stories until they grew out of it. And I realized later on in my life how really important it was. Because that was I had a very narrow window to look outside of the small world I was living in, and it was through storytelling. People come into the business for the wrong reasons. They want to make money. They want to be a star. As long as you can be in places like this, which is really terrific, chances are you're going to come at it in the right way. And chances are that you will be stronger for it, and you'll be able to stand on your own. If you can be true to yourself and hold on to that, and even if being true to yourself says, I know I must do this. My parents said no, my friends said no, my looks say no because everybody seems to be buying this kind of look or that kind of look. They're buying blondes or they're buying dark hair. I'm going to do what I'm going to do because I have faith in myself. As long as I'm true to myself and I don't kid myself. It's probably the very best thing you can do, is because you're going to need it in this business. It's full of a lot of treachery. Honesty is beside the point. Integrity is beside the point. Art is beside the point. So you have to engineer your way through that tough landscape. So being true to yourself. One, I understand how an actor feels. So when I'm working with an actor, there's empathy. I also know what they can't get away with, because I tried it. Because I'm an actor, I can sit in their shoes, and because I'm an actor, I know very much what I would want from an actor. One of the reasons we started Sundance was being an actor, I wanted a place where actors were properly honored as part of the process. And it was pretty clear already that a lot of the new directors coming into the business were coming out of film schools where they had no practical experience working with actors, just the equipment. And they were getting obsessed with learning how to manipulate the equipment, whether it was a boom or there's a zoom, or not humans. So Sundance committed itself to the role of the actor and the voice of the actor playing a part. So we would demand that the new directors spend time with the actors, and found out how many new directors were afraid of actors. And they went around them or tried to rely on the crane or the this or the monitor and just say, well, why did you just do the? And then they go, say, no, take the monitor out, take the crane away, sit there and listen to the actor tell you what's not working for them. So I feel I can bring that to the picture, working with an actor, knowing when I think they can say something that makes sense and can add to it, because they're coming from an intuitive feeling. And as a director, sometimes you lose that because you're looking at so many things at once. I mean, a lot of the directors I've worked with of late really have no sense of what an actor goes through, no sense of what an actor needs. They know what the camera needs because they've already cut the thing in their heads. They've already edited in their heads what they want. So they want a little piece of this, a little piece of that. So you only have to act this much. As an actor, I directed about behavior and right down to the finest detail of the behavior and how it would translate into something special. And so you know how to direct an actor without making them feel like a puppet. I guess those are things I feel like I bring to it.
There's a place left in every play and every film for the audience to inhabit, and it's got to be the right size. It's just like an actor. If you give them a line that they can't play, that's a terrible. You got to get rid of that. You got to either write a new line or you got to cut it. And if you do that, you know, if the audience doesn't know what to do with something, in other words, and I don't mean by that, I don't care if they consciously know what to do with it, but in other words, if it doesn't fit into their relationship, moment-to-moment relationship to the narrative that they're experiencing, they are no longer part of it. Then they sit back and they, you know, start to think about their toenails or whatever. And you gotta respect that. To me, they're a living character, and they're the most mysterious one. They're brilliant. Individual, you could be a whole audience of idiots, right? But together, you've got to listen to them. They always know. I mean, I've done plays, there's 50 people in the audience, and I wouldn't spend 5 minutes talking to any one of them. And they knew more about my play and how it worked and what worked and what didn't than I ever could alone. and I would, you know, immediately take what they told me and start to work with it so that they were included in the play. Well, you know, we're all helpless. I mean, you do nothing but, no matter how much you learn as a writer, it's amazing how you forget everything that, you know, hard fought for wisdom, and you make the same mistakes over and over again. You know, one of the most mysterious things is plot and story, and nobody really knows why some stories just grab you and why some don't. And nobody I know writes something without having whole scenes, or maybe the whole thing, not have a plot. They, you know, even if they've been doing it forever and they really know what they're doing, they just, it's something about writing that you make that same mistake. It's like, well, that actually has nothing to do with the story. Or this story doesn't work. It's not a real story.
Right.
And then you can sort of analyze why afterwards, and you might be right or you might be wrong, but to actually, I mean, Stanley Kubrick said a story that works is a miracle. And he was right. He was right.
I'm not so sure that the mistakes I see people doing now aren't mistakes that I've seen people do always. And I think sometimes I see actors sell themselves short in the beginning. Or maybe I'm not really talking so much about actors, but maybe I'm talking about maybe celebrities that sort of are celebrities for the sake of being celebrities and not really famous for any achievement. And I think that's such a slippery slope, and you can't sustain that. That would be the biggest danger that I would see with young people today. Every script is different and every character is different, and I always look at it as it's like a treasure map. And each little detail in it, you sort of look at it for information, and it points you in the right direction to tell you where you need to go. You start out with a few choices. Obviously, I need to learn the clarinet, or I need to learn the cello, or I need to learn how to stay underwater without panicking. It is like painting in a way. It's at a certain point, the painting begins to tell you what to do. And with acting, it's the same. With acting in film, anyway, it's at a certain point then what you've already put on screen begins to dictate to you where you need to go, and then it just starts to create itself in a way. And what I try to do is find a strand of myself, as different as I might feel like the character is from me and as removed as it is. I always try to find that one part of me, and then you kind of build onto that, because it's a way to keep you connected. You never want to lose that connection. There's always some sort of parallel that's going on with my own life, and so you can use it to, bring closure, perhaps, to certain things that you haven't. A healing, a reconnection, and I believe in that. I believe in that.
The default position is, Judd Nelson used to say, listen, smile, agree, and then do whatever the f you were going to do anyway. And I still battle with a little bit of this good boy, bad boy thing. But humility doesn't have to mean giving up your position or giving up your intuition. It's just really tough, because the worst thing an actor can do is exhaust somebody for the sake of playing. And that's why I said I hate motives. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, but there's no reason to waste a bunch of time squeaking and talking. And by the time you're on a set and it's freaking game day, is not the time to say, well, I just don't really understand why my character would even be having this relationship with her. I say, okay, because there's no fucking act 2. Now get back to 1, moron. God, wait till I start directing. I might run into some of you, and I just want to apologize ahead of time. Enough of your bullshit. Action. F your feelings. There's places to go deal with your mom and dad issues, and it's like, by the time the director's your mom or dad, it's like, oh my God, now I don't even realize I'm therapizing in the wrong place. Now you're really blowing it. And sometimes they just stink. If the takes are getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and you're taking direction, then the director sucks. It's tricky stuff. There's going to be an arc, There's going to be times when certain things have a deep personal meaning, and you're a lot more just on the hunt, you know, always searching, sometimes hunting, but never resting. Where's the juice, you know? What's in it for you? What do we get to glean from the experience, you know? That's all that really I remember from the movies, aside from the aftermath and a really special night like tonight with, you know, intelligent people talking, you know, way, way below the surface about what we're trying to do. That's like Joseph Campbell says, if you're on a path that's beaten, it's not your path. And it's having the initiative to say, God, that looks kind of treacherous over there. This might really stir up some personal stuff for me. Or there's an archetype there that I've been avoiding for a long, long time. That shadow stuff, that trickster stuff, that authoritative stuff, that rebellious stuff, or that really straight down the line simplicity. The answers are there from moment to moment. You're rooted in what you learn and what you're getting infused with here, and then flexible up top to be like, that works, that doesn't, drop that. That's my shit. What am I doing? Screw him, you know. Wait, not that, you know. It's that, you know, cycles per second. Fantastic stuff. That's the juice.
You know what the question is that a lot of people ask me all the time? How did you make it? How did you make it? Well, I tell you, there's only one answer for that. And I say this in press all the time, but people will cut it out of articles, or they don't want it printed, or they don't want it said. But the truth be told, it was nothing but the grace of God. Nothing but the grace of God. You can plant seeds all day long. You can go around giving your business card to people. You can go around knocking on doors and auditioning. You can do all of that every day of your life. And nothing, for most people, nothing happens. When a seed is planted in the ground, all you can do is water it. You cannot control the sunshine, you cannot control the weather, and you cannot control whether the locusts will come and try and destroy it. All you can do is plant your seed in the ground, water it, and believe. That is what allowed me to be in this position right now. I would not stop believing. I planted my seed. I worked really hard. I had one idea, and that was to do a play. All the other stuff came. My only idea, my only focus was to do my one play. And I knew if I could get that to work, everything else would come to pass. There's so many people who go in so many directions. This week they're doing this, and next week they're doing that, and next week they're doing this, and next week they're going to be in real estate, and the next week they're going to open a salon. And those kind of people are all over the place, and I usually try to get them to focus. Focus on one thing, one area. Put all of your energy into watering one area. If you spread the water across many, many seeds, you don't have as much water for one seed. So focus on one thing. Make it your priority and stick with it no matter what. No matter how many people told me no, no matter how many people lied to me, no matter how many times I put the show up and nobody came. I remember when I did my very first show, I worked my butt off and saved $12,000, tax returns from H&R Block money. I saved it, worked hard, saved it myself, rented the 14th Street Playhouse, put that show up, thought that 1,200 people would come over a weekend, and 30 showed up, and I knew every one of them. But I didn't stop. That didn't deter me. That was in 1992. 93. Same thing happened. 94, 95, 96, 97, up until 1998. Same devastation, nobody showing up in the audience. I was doing one show a year, working with different promoters, trying to get the show up, and nobody showed up. But I didn't stop. And what I say to you now, looking at me now, here, I am a human being. There's no difference between my humanness and your humanness. The only thing is, if you're trying to get there, you cannot stop believing in any way. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody tells you, you have to know it beyond knowing it. And it is a feeling. When something is for you, this is how I knew it was for me. When something is for you, there's a feeling that is deep down inside of you that will not allow you to let it go. It will keep you going when you can't even keep yourself going. That's why the mantra here at the Tyler Perry Studios is a place where even dreams believe. because there comes a time in your life where you've worked and you've stressed and you tried to get there and you couldn't on your own, but you have a dream. And that dream has to take on the belief for you because you can't do it by yourself. So what I would tell you is this: don't stop. Narrow your focus to one idea, one, and make it work. That will give birth to all the others. All you can do is plant the seed and water it. God himself has to give the increase. Only God can make the sunshine. Only God can bring the rain. But if you've planted the seed, then you've done your part. Anything you want is possible. God knows I'm a living witness. Please feel me. Please hear this from my heart. Anything you want is possible. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't take the time to send this message to you. Take care of yourself.